Well, we made it, Pooniverse fans, to yet another installment in the Pooniverse. Now, in this movie, we follow Peter Pan and the little kids, Wendy and her younger brother, who get kidnapped by Peter Pan, and then Wendy must do everything in her power now to get her little brother back before he is sent to Neverland forever. Now, with that awesome plot, I, of course, had to do a review for this movie, and considering I love the Pooniverse, and these types of movies are very, very fun, I said, why not to do this review? So, without further ado, let's get into this review for Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare. So the first thing I want to talk about in this review is Peter Pan himself, played by Martin Bortlock. He actually portrays this character really, really well and kind of gives him an eerie and disturbing performance, especially considering he plays like a kidnapper, kind of, in this film, you know, and no matter what movie you're in, if somebody's getting kidnapped, you know that is going to be a very, very scary movie, especially if they do it right, and in this movie, they definitely do it right, and this is another character from our childhoods that definitely got ruined in this movie by getting turned into a horror icon, but yeah, he is just portrayed brilliantly in this movie, and from his suspense scenes to his action scenes to the horror scenes that we get with this character, the actor behind him just does such a great job in the role. And honestly, with all these Pooniverse movies, I don't expect bad acting from the actual main characters themselves. You know, for Winnie the Pooh, both of those actors did really well in that role, and I could definitely say the same about Martin Portlock as Peter Pan. He really brings everything he needed to bring to the table for this horror adaptation of this Disney character. So without a doubt, he was definitely my favorite part of the movie. So now, while talking on the topic of villains, I want to now mention Captain Hook. Now, honestly, going into this movie, I did not expect to see Captain Hook because, honestly, I really don't remember the children's specials for Peter Pan, but I don't ever remember seeing Captain Hook. But it was a huge pleasure to see him in this movie, and the actor behind him was definitely bringing his best to this performance. But I did honestly like Peter Pan's character a little more, but still, he brought everything he really should have brought to, like I said in the other segment in this video, bring horror to a character that is meant for children. Because honestly, this movie wrecked any memory of childhood that we had with Peter Pan, because like Winnie the Pooh, this definitely ruined our childhoods. But yeah, his portrayal was very eerie as well, very scary, and the scenes we get with him, you'll definitely enjoy, because I certainly enjoyed my time seeing his character on screen, seeing his interactions with the other cast members and characters, and really seeing his contribution to the actual story. But yeah, his character was beautifully written and perfectly portrayed and made for another fun addition to this movie. So now I want to mention the character of Tinkerbell. Now, Tinkerbell was played greatly by Kit Green, and honestly, she probably was the darkest part of this movie, 100%, because not because of really anything she does. She's kill-wise, she is exactly the same as the other two, but she plays the drug-addicted fairy, a drug-addicted fairy. I did not know they were gonna do that with this movie, have this beloved Disney character be a drug addict. I get if you turned it into a horror icon, because we've seen that with Winnie, but a drug addict? Really? That's definitely a new turn that they've been taking, and I wonder what they're gonna do with that now, with no restrictions, with drugs, gore, blood, everything. It's seeming like they're having no restrictions, something very similar to the Terrifier films with no restrictions at all, you know, because this has definitely been a new turn within the franchise of the Pooniverse due to the fact that we've never had a drug addicted character before. But honestly, leave it up to this movie to bring some new shocking elements to this franchise. So now, with our main horror icons of this movie out of the way, I want to now focus mainly on the story. Now, the story is really, really actually good in this movie. You know, in my previous reviews for Winnie the Pooh and Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, I said they're slowly turning into the right direction that will lead us to probably one of the best horror franchises of all time. Because each and every movie with this saga, they keep getting better and better with their story and stepping in the right direction. And And this movie is no different. That's just another step in the right direction that goes from Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 to another step to Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare. And then they're just going to keep going with hopefully Bambi. And then eventually they're going to lead to the Pooniverse movie that will be coming out apparently this year, which, by the way, I'm very excited for. But yeah, story-wise, it is really, really well done, and they just keep taking steps forward with the story and making it better and better over time. And I feel like definitely by the end of this franchise, we will look back on it and say, wow, the story was really one of the best things we could really say about this franchise, because it kept getting better and better with every single movie. So the next thing I want to talk about in this review is the horror. Now, of course, horror and the story go kind of hand in hand because the story creates the horror, but the horror in this movie was just so well done that I needed to point it out in a separate segment of the video due to the fact that it was definitely one of the best parts of this movie. The horror was very, very well done, and the practical effects were extremely, extremely great with this movie. And honestly, it's not like Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 or even Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey Part 1, because it doesn't feel like fake limbs flying everywhere. It feels like real stuff, real horror movie murder, really. And every time somebody dies, you could really sort of be afraid due to the fact that it kind of looks extremely real due to the amazing acting within this movie. But yeah, the horror is really, really well done in this movie, and the suspense go hand in hand with that, and the suspense and build-up really goes well with the horror because it perfectly sets it up. So overall, this movie is a 7 out of 10. It is not perfect, but like I said with other reviews with this Pooniverse franchise, it is a step in the right direction. Slowly over time, we will be noticing better story, better characters, better everything, really. It's gonna keep getting better and better until it is one of the best franchises of all time. And this movie was another step in the right direction. But that is my review for Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare. See you guys on the next video.